Hello, friends. Happy Saturday. Happy weekend. I think this might be the very first video that I've done on the weekend. So, happy weekend. It is February 16th and it's 2 p.m. in Dallas. It is currently cold outside. We woke up this morning and it was 4 degrees or something. It's supposed to get up to 51 to us in Texas. That's quite cold. So so it's chilly here. And it's supposed to be very similar for the next few days. Highs in the 50s, maybe 60, but sometimes 40s, low in the 30s and 40s. So, and some rain next week, maybe like Tuesday or Thursday or something. So, the weather is, reminding us that winter does exist in Texas, in the way that Texas does winter, which is, cold and rainy until it's not cold and rainy anymore. And then it's just very hot. So, I hope your day has been good so far. There's a good amount of it left. This morning, Jeremy and I made breakfast together for one of the very first times. Jeremy has never really been a breakfast person, but a couple of weeks ago we went, had breakfast with my sister and her husband, my older sister, and we had pancakes, and he was like, "Why don't we do this?" And I was like, "Because you don't eat breakfast." I love breakfast during breakfast time, also at other times of the day, but I love breakfast at breakfast. And so, and that's just something that he hasn't seemed interested in. But this morning he woke up and started making bacon, and I was like, okay, we're doing this. So, we had breakfast and coffee and listened to the NPR game shows, which is one of my very favorite things. Today has been just a winning Saturday, along with some other things I will divulge to you in a moment. One of the things that got us started talking and hanging out this morning is because I was looking at my calendar and I made a couple of comments, philosophical comments to him, and he was like, "I didn't know you liked philosophy." And I was like, "Well, obviously you haven't been watching my videos." This is why I do yoga and go to yoga training, is because we talk about why we exist the way that we do. And oh gosh, it's great. I love that. So today is the 16th. It's a Saturday. We are in the second quarter still, moving towards the full moon, as we talked about yesterday. The moon we are seeing more and more of every night, and that means that it is waxing. That's that word, is waxing. We're in a waxing moon right now, and so we see more and more of that until the full moon on Tuesday. So when you look up at the sky, like tonight and tomorrow, if you can see it through the clouds, or if it's clear where you're at, it may start to look like it's full, but it won't reach peak fullness until Tuesday. So, it is a planting day, and one of the things that I did while we were listening to our NPR shows on Alexa, and you can just FYI, if you have an Alexa, you can say, "Alexa, play Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me," and they will do it. And that's just, I'm over the moon about that. Oh no, she's starting. Yeah, no, if you can't hear it, she just started. Hang on, sorry. Alexa, stop. I forgot I had one of those in here. Sorry. It does work. Okay. So it's a planting day, and after breakfast and all of, the laughter and the excitement about the great writing that they have on those shows, um, I made another batch of dog treats. And if you didn't know, I did post a video about making my vegan, tummy-friendly dog treats that I added rosemary to for in bulk, because in bulk, one of the herbs for in bulk was rosemary, and I looked it up, and it turns out that dogs can eat rosemary, so I wanted to check that out. And I have since started giving less and less of them, particularly to Bella, because she started getting hot spots in her ears. She's they're both very sensitive dogs. So I will not be making the rosemary dog treats for my dogs anymore. I think tea is okay, but I may bag them up and give them to Pet Supplies, or one of the places that takes donations of pet foods and things. I actually have a bag of other stuff that they can't eat that I'm going to take anyway, so that'll be perfect. But so those may work for your dogs. They don't work for mine, and I will write probably like put a little note in the description to just say that like their pity systems with their sensitive skin. Pitties have really sensitive skin, and so with their sensitive skin, they just couldn't do it. This is one of the same reasons why Bella can't have chicken, is she gets those hot spots in her ears, like little sores that like itch and itch and itch, and as she itches them, they get bigger, and it's not super bad, but she is itching quite a bit, and I've had to clean out her ears a couple of times, and she hates it. So, and there's no reason to give them treats that, are something that she doesn't like. So these treats, they are in the fridge right now, proving, and I added molasses and a half of a banana into them, and they smelled great. So I'm really excited about trying those. I know Bella can eat banana, and so that shouldn't be a problem, and molasses is just a little sugar for my sugar. And so I will be doing that instead of the rosemary dog treats. So that was part of my planting today. I told myself that I would do that for the dogs, and because I love just giving them all of the treats that they want. I actually did some literal planting. It is super cold outside, but guys, when I was at Target, I went to the Target in Richardson the other day because we live like close to there, and I don't normally go over 635. Guys, I went over 635 to meet Jeremy and some of his coworkers for lunch. Went over 635, and I was up there, and I was like, okay, well, let's check out this whole Richardson deal. The Super Target up there is actually really nice. Like, I will go back. Target's great anyway, but they have some things that they don't have in Dallas, including, and I didn't bring like the packet before I did these. I've got a couple of them in the front, but I made tiny pots. So, in one of my new moon wishes, as I've shared with you guys, is to do more gardening. And it is so cold outside that actually these probably wouldn't survive outside right now. This one is tomatoes, and this for darn sure is not gonna, like this freezing, below freezing, like these are not gonna make it out there. I'm probably gonna put it inside this window right here and then just like spritz them with water every day. This one is tomatoes. Yes, I drew that on there because I wanted to tell them apart from this one. Guess what this one is, guys? Save the bees. It's called the pollinator. They're cone flowers, purple cone flowers, like echinacea or something. Super stoked about this. So this is the beginning of my bee garden. We are like making dreams come true here, people. Bee garden for $1. This was $1. Each of these little pots was $1. It was in one spot when I walked into Target, and I am just absolutely in love. They also had some moon things in $1 spot that they didn't have at the Abrams and Skillman one. And so I am just, or Skillman, and yeah, there's two like right around there, or the one in Northwest Highway. I go to Target and they just didn't have these, and now they do. So I actually did some literal planting. You can't see the seeds, but they're in there, and it's nice and moist, and we are making it, people. We are gardening. We're indoor gardening, like a true urban dame. I am gardening. So we did some actual planting today. I'm gonna do some more like planting. Oh, I got dirt on my finger. Some more planting, but today is a planting day. Plant something. Invest in your life in a meaningful way, and do a little thing to invest in your new moon wishes and make it happen, people. Because it can happen even when it's cold outside and your garden is like maybe getting frozen over. Like it can really, we can do it up like right now. So let's do that. The other thing, the reason why Jeremy and I started talking about philosophy is because the color for today is black. And when I look at my calendar and it says that black means banishing and the void. And I was like, excuse me? You want me to banish my Saturday to the color black? Like that was my original thought. And I was like, there's got to be something positive about the void, because it sounds terrible. Like even when you void a check, you're like, oh, well, that was a waste. Not going to do that today. Like, and I'm sorry for those of you who have never written a check before. It happens. If you haven't, don't worry about it. It's not that big of a deal. Basically, just void means there's nothing there and it's a waste. And so we're not having that today. So I looked up the void, and outside of like quantum vacuums and things like that, that was something that Jeremy had to say was a very scientific thing, that like a void is basically just emptiness. And I think we know that. I think that we know that black and the void and emptiness are all, all kind of go together. We know, and he said, like scientifically speaking, black is the absence of light, like in a wavelength sort of reflective sort of way. When you have no light, it's black, right? Like the way that we get light is by like wavelengths and things. And if you don't have that, then it's black. And so I was like, well, that's still not great. And still not positive. And so I actually, in reading about the void, one of the things that they talked about is that some people see the void corresponding to nirvana, which is a very Buddhist sort of philosophy, and that is the emptiness and or nothingness that comes from a state of true bliss. So if you want to take the most positive spin on the void today, you can believe that, or choose to live your day like today is a flash reminder of the bliss that we have in store for us when we get done living all of the lives that we need to live to reach enlightenment. Because then when you get there, that is a void or nirvana, but it is a void because it's absent of all suffering and not and all thingness. And I say thingness because like everything that we know as a concept and everything that we know as like what we can see and feel and touch, like everything that's not our soul, right? Everything that is around us is our things. And when we don't have those things, we're not talking death. When we don't have those things clouding our soul, all we are is pure soul. And that some people refer to that as pure bliss. When your awareness reaches enlightenment and you transcend, the word is transcend. You transcend everything that's not important in an ethereal way or in like a spiritual way. So if you believe in Buddhism, then black and, you know, banishment to the void is actually a very positive thing. And it's not even just like banishment. It's like, you know, you kind of work pretty hard, or like you put in practices spiritually to reach that place, or maybe not for reasons. You never really reason to reach enlightenment, because then you're not really getting there, you know. That's a small kind of caveat to reaching enlightenment. You don't look at enlightenment and say, I want to go there. You just be the best person that you can be and be so alive in this moment as it is. And you're so in touch with your soul that by being that way, you reach enlightenment at a time. And they say that it takes lives upon lives upon lives to reach that place. And that we are really just trying to self-realize. That's very yogic, is that we are trying to self-realize, and we are trying to, in that way, we're trying to God realize. But that is that's a little bit further than I'd like to go. All I'm saying is the most positive way to look at the black that is today is that I would put I'm taking a little bit of a different approach, because I feel like that void is something very similar to what people think heaven is. Like, people have said that like nirvana and heaven kind of are the same place in a Christian format. And I think that it's really dangerous for people, and for I'll say for myself specifically, to focus on a life that is not the one that we're living, and to see this life as one of suffering. And I choose not to live my life that way. I choose not to see this life as a wash, or as something that I just need to get through so that I can get to the next place. I really want to be in the place that I'm in. And so I urge you that if you want to look towards a void that is like bliss, that you don't see that as like an end goal, and that you're not choosing that so that you can escape the moment that you're in, because that's not what life is about, and that's not living wholly and fully, and it's not going to bring you joy. That's escapism, and that's different. It feels good for a minute, and sometimes we have to cope that way, but generally speaking, we don't like to be in that place, because it's very avoiding. Yeah, avoiding. Don't avoid this life by looking to the void that is like bliss. We don't want that. The way that I choose to look at it today is, and I'll tell you the story of how I got into this. Actually, I came into my studio and decided that before I did my video for you guys, I was going to put myself in a mental place that was very today. And the way that I do that sometimes comes a little bit later on the weekends. I always wake up in the morning and do my yogas on the weekdays before I go off and do anything. I don't do my videos, but I do my morning yogas and meditation before I leave the house. Today, because of, coffee and hanging out and just all of the things that we did, which brought me so much joy, you guys. I did my yogas right before this video, and that gave me like this vision. My goat yoga. That wasn't my vision, but you'll notice my goat was here. And I saw Bella yesterday in my video. If you watch like even just the first 5 minutes of my video, I start talking about my favorite new stuffed animals that Jeremy got me for Valentine's. Bella is meanwhile eating the goat's face, This is not joking times. She was actually doing it. It was really funny when I watched it, but I was like, I was being really like genuine and serious, and she was eating his face. So that was real. His face is fine, by the way. Like, she didn't actually like take it apart, which is something she really is good at. But anyway, doing my goat yogas. I forgot about yin and yang. And so I want to talk about that a little bit. My process for yoga, before we do that, we'll take a step back. My process for yoga is I come into my office, I sit down in this chair, I light a candle, and mostly that candle is white. I actually have it going right now. This one I got gifted last Christmas. It's chamomile. It's hard to see because I kept it lit this time. I got it for Christmas from the guys that I worked for, and it was a super sweet gift, and I have used it every single morning, and it just keeps like going down and down and down. It just is not ending. It's not running out, and I love that. So I remember them with fondness, like every time I light this candle. It's my favorite. So I light my candle, and then I choose an oracle card. Of my own process, I choose a card. And my card was this card. And these are moon cards. I got them off of yogaoutlet.com, and they are absolutely gorgeous. They have a femininity about them, but that is because the moon is very feminine. And so the moon kind of by definition has an inherent, Cancer, right? An inherent home, femininity, nurturing, mother, womb, like those words are very moon. And so it really is a thoughtful deck, and I absolutely love it. It comes in a super cute wooden box, and I choose one every morning if I can. Every once in a while I'll forget. If I go away on a trip, I don't take my cards with me. They stay here. But I will choose 3 cards, and I will take a picture of them and meditate on them through the trip. So when Jeremy and I go on our trip in a week or so, I will take a picture of 3, maybe even 5 cards as process cards, so that I can meditate on specifics through the trip and gain my grounding in a place that's different than my home. So this was my card, and you'll notice, it says here, with focus and intention, I can shape energy in any direction. And so we're talking about black energy. But you notice here, so it's got the black, and it's also got white. And in between my mind, even before this, just before this, but deciding to get in a place where I would talk to you guys, I realized that white and black go together, and they mean things together, right? And in this way, because this is a moon deck, one of the ways that we remember yin and yang, and I'll talk about that, like I said, in just a minute. One of the ways that we remember yin and yang is by the moon cycle, because the moon is full or white or light for one day, and then 2 weeks later it is new and it is black or void of light. And so we remember that light and dark exist in the same time. And so this card, but for real though, like, applies. We'll just say, we'll be underwhelming and say that it applies to what I'm talking to you about today. So, the next thing that I do, because I'm thinking very white and black right now, is I pick some stones from this bowl that you see behind me. And I have a couple of like coins and things, but they all have meaning to me. And so today I chose these 2 stones. And I told you, I think before in one of the other videos, that all of the stones that are in the bowl are stones and special pieces that I have picked up on beaches. And this black stone is actually from a black beach in Hawaii, and it is lava. So it used to be a thing. It used to be fiery and amazing, and now it is this rock. And they were all over that beach, and I have a few of them. And then this one is a piece of coral that I picked up, and I actually don't remember where I got most of this coral from, but it used to be, it used to be alive, but these are both very lifeful pieces, but I liked the white and the black, and how holding them makes very real to me what we're talking about today. Light and dark, being full of life and energy, also sometimes tangible, but existing in the same place and being beautiful in their own right. So, yin and yang. I actually had to go, in order to talk to you about yin and yang, I had to go upstairs in my very last box that I brought from my job when I quit a couple months back. My very last box had a folder that I created when I was working there, and I had some extra free times, let's say, during the day, and I created a feng shui and energy binder. And I haven't opened this since I left that job. But it was like my creative binder. I made some vision, like 8x8 A-line pieces of paper, but I made some vision boards. I made some drawings. I studied energy. I had some yoga things. I had some desk workouts that you could do. I had some information about the chakras and lots of feng shui. So I had to go back to this feng shui, my feng shui binder, to tell you guys about yin and yang, because yin and yang goes very much into feng shui, and they share with each other a lot of things. And so the symbol of yin yang is also known as Tai Chi. And you know what it looks like. I don't have a picture of it for you, but it is a round circle with an S shape, right? And it's black and white. And then in the biggest part of the black, there's a dot of white. And in the biggest part of white, there's a dot of black. And you can look up the yin and yang, and it will show you the symbol. And basically, what it says is black and white together resemble or remind us that light and dark exist in the same place. If the circle around yin and yang is the universe and everything that is held within the universe, we realize and honor the fact that there is darkness and there is light together within the universe, so the big sections. And within darkness, there is always light, and within light, there is always darkness. We can choose where we focus our intention. We can choose where we focus our direction, and we can choose where we concentrate, right? We can choose every day whether we focus on the darkness or we focus on the light. But we know that everything exists. And so today gets to be where we take a breath and we realize that light and dark exist in the same place, that we live in a world where we get to choose, and also that there's beauty in darkness, and there's beauty in light, and that's awesome. The very last black and white thing that I have to tell you is that we talked about chakras on Valentine's, right? We talked about the heart chakra. And the heart chakra is in a general chakras, there are 7, and they go from, the top of your head to the base of your spine, and there are 7 of them. Some people suppose that there are 12. And in the 12 chakras, there is a chakra that exists about 1.5 feet below your feet. And it is the 10th chakra, and it's the earth chakra. And so, we all have them, but it is the energy that connects us to the earth. And it is black and white. And it is said to hold the truth of everything that we are to accomplish and be in this lifetime. And so I would also say, and this isn't about like good and bad, like I think the moral of today is that we don't look at black and see that it's bad. Even when we hear words like banishing or the void, language a lot of times leads us into putting what we believe into buckets and deciding that when we hear a certain word, it means a certain thing that has a negative or a positive connotation. But compartmentalization is a very dangerous thing for us. It keeps us moving in a routine kind of way. We talked a little bit about Taurus energy and how it really, really likes routines and knowing what's going on, and just people generally like to do that, right? If I'm in control of this and I know where I'm going and I know that when I do this, this happens, then like I don't have to worry and life is easier for me. Well, the fact that what grounds us and connects us to the earth is a mixture of black and white, which is really just conceptually light and not light, feminine and masculine energy, the moon and the sun, the moon being black in this case, and the sun being the light. That it's really just all about balance and realizing that we can be both at once and that it's a great thing. Take, for example, feminine and masculine energy. People who are very tapped in and have I would call like a fluid or energized 10th chakra are able to surpass gender and sex. Qualms about it. I have found that I don't have issues with gender. I love all the people. And, my friends know that, and my boyfriend knows that, and my family knows that, and some of them have been really respectful of it, some of them have not. I was, not really disowned, but just really cut off from some of my family for speaking that as my truth. And so being connected to your 10th chakra is a big deal. And I am being connected to the person that you are and being connected to dual truths at once is a very big deal. So let's do that. Let's see black today as not having to be anything in particular and being able to be whatever we want to be. And both at the same time, let's be everything. And let's not have to choose. And it's not good or bad, it just is. And that's what I hope for you today. And I hope that for me today. And I hope you have an awesome Saturday. I really love the colors for today. I love my connection with y'all today, and I really hope you like this video. I will see you soon, maybe tomorrow. Let's do that, okay? I'll see you next time.